Hi, everybody. This is Andres and Julian. We've decided to start a new podcast called Product Lane. The goal of this podcast is simple. Julian and I, every single day, we go through many products around the web, right? Product Hunt, Twitter, Indie Hackers. All of these different tools curate hundreds of products every single day. And what Julian and I have realized is it's almost impossible to go through every single one, right? So for all those product lovers that obsess over new tools, new strategies, we created this podcast because we're going to summarize the tools of the week. We're going to find the top 5. We're going to test many of them. And then every Friday, we're going to give you a curated list of the top products of the week, why we believe those are the top products. We're going to give you 3 pros, 3 cons, and really just have a conversation and explain to you why we believe these are the top 5 products of the week. Julian, what do you think?
Yeah, great intro. I think that as Andrea outlined, this I think it's something like a number of 20,000 products get launched on Product Hunt every month,
Wow.
which is an insane amount, right? I mean, it's difficult to sift through it all, and that's why we want to become the number one place where you just come to on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, and find like relevant and high quality products that you can use and implement into your own daily life. And a little bit on my background, and then also Andre will introduce himself. I'm from Vienna, Austria originally, based in Barcelona right now. And I've built a couple of different products. The one that I'm kind of most known for is HustleOS, which is also how Andre and I met. And we've kind of connected really well over this, fad around, building a lot of different things and indie hacking your way through and bootstrapping products to revenue and profit, of course. So that's basically what my background is. I guess a really strong indie hacker at heart. And I love hacking my way through building products that can help people solve problems for themselves. What about you, Andre?
Yeah, so very similar from your side. I have a passion for products ever since Product Hunt started. Probably I remember around 2015, right? I was every day trying new tools, right? And this is when I graduated, right? I was trying to figure out new tools that would help me in different areas. And the cool part about Product Hunt, it was a community of people that would just upload a product with the hope of just getting some feedback on their own product, right? Instead of letting it go in the world and then hoping that they would get the feedback they need, right? So that's how I started with my obsession on products and new releases and testing all these. Now a little bit about my background. I worked for a company called Wishpond for 6 years, and I did project management there. I ran many ads, worked with a lot of e-commerce, probably total around 960 different businesses, ranging from ESPN, Reader's Digest, Lululemon, CVS. So some pretty cool brands that gave me a lot of exposure on what everyone is trying to do within their business to strategize, right? Be a better business, be more lean, do things better. And long story short, I met Julian through this tool that he was mentioning. And as he was mentioning, we both have this very cool passion about bootstrapping, making things better, faster. And that's why we are here right now, to really just share with you the cool products that Julian and I found over the past week that we think are going to impact you and are going to give you some pretty cool ideas on how to improve and do things faster and better.
Absolutely. And we also want to highlight that we curate not only the products themselves, we also analyze and review them. So if you want to have access to that database of, the pros and cons that we find in them, the actual problem that we see them solve, as in the unique selling point, what sets them apart and differentiates them from the competition. You can get access to that with a link in the description, of course. And also, this is more of a kind of casual conversation. So It might have felt a little scripted up until this point, but we really want to more chat about what the product is, what it helps you do, why it exists, and how you can use it in your life. So it's really just supposed to be a ad hoc kind of thing for us, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly,
basically,
right. So once again, as Julian mentioned, this is just a conversation. We're just going to go over these products, and I'm going to share my screen so that you can all see the first product that we're going to go over, and why. So, Julian, do you want to take this one?
yeah, SigmaOS, really exciting product. As you can see, number one product of the month that we found on Product Hunt. I think this was even endorsed by Ryan Hoover, the founder of Product Hunt. So, I mean, if a man of his caliber puts his name behind it, then I think you know that it's not just what we're saying; it's also more than that. And basically, what you can imagine this being is a what was it? Is it a replacement for Google Chrome in a sense that is very specific on work, and you can organize your work into specific sections, as you can see here. So you basically have like your study life, your maybe your relationships and your communications, and it basically helps you make sense of every single workspace in a more effective manner than just having 20 different Chrome tabs open and maybe 10 different applications, which also is quite memory and CPU intensive. So that's definitely also a way to speed up your workflow, but also help you be more productive. What do you think?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And specifically what you mentioned about like being more productive, I like that a lot, because one of the challenges that we face right now in this world is, if you see anyone's screen, there's like 1,000 tabs, there's like 1,000 apps open, and when you're working and trying to do things fast, you're like moving around all these tabs, and like it feels clutter, right? It feels uncomfortable, right? It doesn't feel organic. It doesn't feel like you're doing things easier, right? It's just like too much. So for me, what I think it does, and I like a lot, is it helps you just have everything within one browser, right? It allows you to put in a lot of tools, create a lot of keyboard shortcuts so that you can get to things and tools faster. And yeah, well, one of the best things that I believe it also does is, by not having all these apps open within your computer, right, you can also increase the speed of your computer and how the processor actually works, right? So yeah, I think that's for me one of the biggest parts, right? Productivity, decluttering, and not having as many tools open so that your computer can be a little bit faster. What do you think, Julian?
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's also interesting how they're positioning themselves on top of that. It feels like, as you can see from the website as well, that their tool is used by companies like Superhuman and stuff like this. And therefore, I think their approach is more B2B to C, which makes sense because they're making an emphasis on helping you with your work, as in like fly through your work, as this tagline also says. So there's a lot you can learn just from scanning through the website and how the company probably functions from a business model perspective, where most likely they are doing part of their business model from a B2C perspective through the $10 a month plan that we see in the bottom, but they will also get more value from gaining customers through partnerships with companies where the employees will use this app on a regular basis and help to structure their workflow. So I think, interestingly enough, if you don't have any more thoughts on this, the next product that we're going to do, which is KnowledgeOS, is also quite similar, but has a completely different approach. So if you want to take it away, Andre.
Yeah, and we decided to choose both of these products for the simple reason that they're both trying to solve a similar problem. Now, what Julian and I believe is, who is their competitor, right? Who is not doing things like they should be, and that's why they come up. So first of all, for SigmaOS, it is a brand new browser. So their competitors are Safari, Firefox, Chrome, right? Now the challenge with that is, you telling someone to not use Chrome, automatically you lose a huge audience, right? Because they need all their plugins, right? They need all their tools within Chrome, all their bookmarks that they've had. And now the reason why we like we like this one is specifically because it is a Chrome plugin, right? It is not a competitor of a browser. It adapts to your own environment, and as you can see here, you can very easily organize your things within Chrome. So if you ask me, yeah, I do believe that this tool is a little bit better than Sigma OS. It has no cost for something like organization, which right now people obviously are very cautious about, like paying for something that has simply an organizational tool. So yeah, I think it solves the same problems. It's just better because it is within your own environment that it solves it.
Yeah, yeah, that's a very good point. I mean, I think both of us, we've tried things like Try Stacker or something, the Stacker HQ application, and it was absolutely garbage as far as I remember. Correct? Do you remember which one I'm talking about?
Yeah. It was TriStack, I think, and
Yeah.
it was so slow, man. It was so slow. Once again, you're trying to replace a browser. How many employees do you think Google and Apple have behind the browser, right? And they don't charge for this, right? So for you to try and compete with these guys, it's crazy, right? So
Yeah.
the other one was Station, and Station was free. They didn't. I don't know what their business model was, but eventually, they ended up not existing. So I feel like the problem of replacing a browser with the one you build, it's a very big challenge versus adapting to their environment and doing something like KnowledgeOS. I believe that's a way better way of tackling the same problem, and making people just adapt faster to your tool.
Yeah, and that's also like just so true because as we are all very habitual creatures, we are very used to the keyboard commands that we have set up within our browser. We're very used to, just going through a specific process whenever we're trying to research something, right? Some people have a new tab Chrome extension installed. Some people don't. Some people literally type in google.com on every single one of their new searches and then go to the search bar. Like every single human being's behavior is so different that I also agree with you, Andre, that KnowledgeOS from Comeg is probably the more sophisticated solution versus Sigma. But I do think that both of them can totally exist. The biggest problem, though, I think that I've experienced with trying Stack in the early days and also these tools is the data question, right? And that's the thing. They're doing really, really well here because you have to log in with every single one of your social media applications, and they can read into every single one of your accounts. So if you're quite privacy centric and focused, as I'm definitely am. I don't know about you, Andre, but that's a huge problem for me. Like I don't like just signing in with Facebook everywhere and giving people my profile and personal data. But I think they're even putting an entire tab on this.
I agree, man. I think that what you mentioned, like just to emphasize on that, whether you care about data privacy or not, the world is moving to that, right?
Yeah.
So as a business, you emphasizing about data privacy, you are going to definitely tackle a new audience, right? So I like how you mentioned it, Julian. It's like, I care about data privacy, but there's a lot of people that don't. But the people that don't care about data privacy, like at the end of the day, it's like if you talk about data privacy, it's almost like they don't mind, right? It's not something, if you're private about their data, they're not gonna be like, oh, I didn't want that. So yeah, I think you can basically, yeah, just mentioning data privacy in this day and age is key to adapt a massive audience that does care about it right now.
Indeed. Yeah, I mean, I'm totally ready for the next one. If you want to go ahead.
Let's start with the next one. This one, actually, Julian brought it to my attention, and it's unbelievable. This one shocked me, and it's pretty cool because it resonates really, really, really big with both Julian and I and what we do in our daily lives. Julian, go ahead. I think you should start.
Yeah, sure. I think Heap is a really interesting concept. I mean, I think you can find very similar marketplaces. I would describe it as a marketplace They describe it more as like find experts that can build you like visual development or no code apps, and help you with automations and all that, which is really like, at the current pulse of time because of low code, no code as a trend, and even like fully automating your businesses. We're both like in this space, right, Andre? Like we care about this a lot. And Heap is basically like this marketplace that kind of transforms what Fiverr did for design and freelancing into kind of a really personal and professional looking approach for what we do, which is developing no code web apps, marketplaces, mobile apps, whatever it may be, and even getting hired for it, right? So it gives us as these kind of like visual developers the potential to get more clients, and that's honestly like an awesome mission that they're on here.
Yeah, and I want to touch on that a little bit more. You mentioned a pretty important topic that I believe is at the center of our podcast, and that is no code. And then I want to expand a little bit more. Like, why is no code important in this day and age? And one of the things I believe it's very vital for development right now is creating products fast, getting to your MVP faster than ever, test the market, identify if you have an audience, identify if you have product market fit. Now the challenge a few years ago was you'd have to hire a developer, designer, copywriter, ad specialist, project manager, this insane team that would cost you so much, probably like 4 or 5 months for development, right? To even get that MVP out there. So it was still a very big investment, right? It was very hard for it to be lean. No code is basically, in a way, tools that are curated like Webflow, right? Airtable, Notion, right? All of these tools are very easy to use. You don't need designer skills. You got beautiful designs already. And anyone can build them, right? Anyone that has a little bit of a tech background can basically launch their own app. Now, if you want to take it a little bit further and hire someone that just does it all for you, you can. And I think that it helps you get your MVP probably within a month instead of 6 months and at a tenth of the cost. What do you think, Julian?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think even faster sometimes, and it depends completely on the requirements. Yeah. Sometimes you can even like I build MVPs in a week, 2 weeks sometimes, and launch them on Product Hunt. It's like just super easy and works with these no-code applications. And I think I would like to nuance your opinion on why this exists in the first place, Andre, by saying that most of these tools are super easy and user-friendly, but they have really long and kind of steady learning curves that you do need to invest a lot of time into.
Yeah.
I personally learned Webflow over a time period of 3 to 4 months until I felt quite comfortable in it. So from that perspective, I think they're banking on the fact that these tools do seem intimidating to most. And for us, it's easy to use them because we're just tech savvy. But for someone who's just never been in this space, it's quite daunting to even get started. So it makes sense to have a marketplace for experts like us.
Yeah, very true, very true. So yeah, guys, go to Heap if you're looking to build a product quick, lean, affordable. As you can see, right, it says here, build a native app for $1,500, right? Crazy that you can have a business now, an app in the App Store for $1,500 without learning code, simply by hiring an expert to do it for you. Crazy.
Yeah, it's mental. Times have changed so much.
I know. So you want to go to the next one?
I'm down.
Let's do warmer.ai. Perfect.
Would you like to take that?
Yeah, I'll definitely take this one. And the reasons why I love this tool. Warmer.ai is in a space right now that is blowing up, right? Over the past 6 months, everything that Julian and I find within Indie Hackers, Twitter, and Product Hunt, one of the main topics that is blowing up is artificial intelligence, right? People are using it so much more in ways that we can't even imagine. And this is a use case that is vital for the growth of many businesses. Why do people need to generate personalized emails in seconds? So I'll give you an example. I did sales for 3 years. And as many of you know, when it comes to sales, you need to do cold outreach. Find people online, Twitter, emails, grab their profiles, figure out what to write, see if it's relevant, see if it's personalized, and then send an email. The fastest I was able to write an email that was real, personal, that would get someone to respond was 30 minutes. Right? Anything below that, it wouldn't be relevant. So you're telling me that within a day that I have 8 hours, I can only write 16 emails? That's such a waste of time. So Warmer.ai comes in, and the reason why I loved it, and I told Julian we need to talk about this, is because imagine that you have a list of 100 emails. You just upload them to their tool, and within seconds they create a personalized email based on LinkedIn, based on the website. So they very easily, as you can see here, LinkedIn, website, CSV, very easily you can just send those 100 emails with any tool like Mailshake or PersistIQ or Close.io that just send bulk emails. And I've tested it. I tested it with Julian, and it is very impressive. So my idea is how to really still send emails to prospects faster without compromising quality of the content you're sending. And that is what I think they're here to solve. What do you think, Julian?
Yeah, no, it's very on point. I think the only thing I have to say about this, in addition to what you were already mentioning with the space blowing up, is there are so many competitors here at the moment. Like the nuancing or differentiation is almost blurry at this point, in my opinion. Like there's CopyShark, there's MarkCopy.ai, there's Jarvis, there's like just hundreds of these guys like doing exactly the same thing. But I think their approach, as also they recently just came out, is really interesting because they take into consideration who you're writing to. Most of the other tools that I've seen so far really just focus on, generating like templated copy in a way, or helping you write emails faster by saving snippets that you recorded pre and maybe enhancing your snippets a little bit with AI. But this is really analyzing a whole entire LinkedIn profile or whatever and saying, okay, this is a post. You showed me this, right? I mean, this is a post that someone did before, and the AI analyzes that and gives you exactly something that person was talking about, like literally an emotional connection that you're building with them that you didn't even have to research yourself, and writes it into a message, and you can connect with them immediately. That's just mental to me.
Yeah, and one thing you mentioned that I'd like to address is the competition is so crazy. It's going to be interesting to see over the next few years, which one actually comes on top. And I believe when there's that much competition, the one that comes out on top is the one that can sell it better. That's it, bottom line.
Definitely.
The one that can sell it better, have a sales team, have a lean team that can sell it to other businesses, is the one that's come on top. Because if you're just hoping for organic growth, for having a cool product, you might not get it because the competition is so much right now. Everyone is doing this right now.
Yeah. No, it's definitely such a needed tool in our day and age where, most of the indie hackers that we know or people that are building products just need to do all the jobs in one. And this really just helps save so much time when you're just bootstrapping your product and you need to get more leads and make your business profitable. So definitely an awesome tool.
Yeah, very true. So I think we're going to go to the last one. This one is a little bit different compared to the other four we've gone over. And we have it on this podcast because we do still think that it's important, right? Everything that Julian and I is about no code, right? Doing things faster, better, and still making sure that you have that quality so that when people look at your site, right, or your project, it still looks super high level, but in reality, you didn't spend as much time as 4 or 5 designers, developers.
Exactly.
And that is why we brought this one in, right? It's called Storytale, high-class illustrations for web and mobile projects. So yeah, a massive trend that's been going on over the past 4 years is illustrations, right? Illustrations that make the brand look like it has a little bit more of emotions, colors, and people use this all over their sites. But really, to create an illustration, you have to be an artist, man. To create an illustration from scratch, It's so hard, man. So what these guys do, they curate illustrations, they build them with their designers, and then they give them to people for free. I think that all they ask for is like email address. Oh, they actually unlock all for $13 a month. Right? You can choose emojis that they've created. And basically have like a ton of access to all these different types of cool illustrations that you can just use in your site. In seconds, your site will go from 0 to 100 when it comes to people's perspective of the quality. What are your thoughts, Julian?
Yeah, it's exactly that quality aspect. If you as a customer come onto a landing page and see exactly the same hero image that you saw 5 minutes ago on a different landing page, that's not a unique experience anymore, right? And that's exactly what I think these, I would call them like illustration libraries aim to solve. There are a couple of them out there, but I think this one is quite unique in the sense that they have a wide variety of different ones, including 3D and all that. And the price point, I've seen illustration libraries doing 60, 90, even over $100 a month, and the price point of $30 a month is really quite interesting, I must say.
Yeah, and just to think that like I used to work with a lot of designers at Wishpond, and they would do these illustrations from scratch, right?
Yeah.
Like they would spend like a full day, right? So for a designer to realize that all these libraries exist, you can browse them by different moods, and then just focus on maybe more the user experience instead of the actual design of the illustration, right?
Yeah, because in the beginning you don't want to, pay a designer or make sense of some illustration you have in your brain, and then go back and forth with a Fiverr freelancer that you're hiring, and then it's not going to turn out the way you want, and you just waste time.
Absolutely.
You just want to click, download, upload, be done with it.
I agree, right? Man. I agree. It's almost like we're realizing all these things that took so long to do before are now becoming almost like a waste of time, right? Unproductive, right? When you can grab all these different libraries, use them within your environment, and do things faster, more efficiently. And I think that's a great point, man.
Yes, indeed. And also we want to emphasize these products might have appeared all on Product Hunt, but we do pick them from different places, and it just so happens to be that this week the selection is quite much centered around the top ones of the day, even, as you can see, with a couple of number one badges, which is, by the way, very difficult to achieve, speaking from personal experience. But we are really going deep into the web and looking for fresh products that you wouldn't find otherwise.
Yeah, and as Julian mentioned, once again, our goal here is Julian and I do it because we love it, right? Before this podcast, we did it on our own, right? We probably try 3, 4, 5 products a day, right? And that knowledge suddenly like disappears. It's only for us. So what we want to do is we want to share that knowledge, right? We want to those that don't have time to go and try all these different tools. This is why this exists, right? So that you guys can just watch this quick video every Friday, a summary on the top products that we believe are going to help you in your daily lives. And obviously take it with a grain of salt, right? Everyone has different needs. So hopefully one of these helped you, got you a little bit interested to either start a new project or to adapt it to your current either business or new startup.
Absolutely. Yeah, I can only second that. I mean, we're really looking forward to just doing this on a weekly basis and sharing with you what we find, because that's the truly exciting part, and share a little bit of that passion with you all. So really looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. And then, so we're going to be doing one every single Friday. And what we're going to do as well is in the description on the video, below the video, we're going to be adding, as Julian was mentioning, a link to the products we went over, pros, cons, why we chose them, and links so you can go ahead and check them out. If you do have any questions, if you disagree or agree with us and would like some explanations for us to explain a little bit further, just add it in the comments below. Well, Julian and I will make sure to respond. And let us know if you guys like this, if you guys didn't, if you guys want us to change certain things. And we'll see you guys next Friday.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for that awesome sign up, Andre. Pleasure.
Julian, pleasure like always, man. We'll chat soon.